Hi, my name is Michelle Mears. I'm the Assistant Director of Career Services here at Sam Houston State University. And I also serve as the Career Specialist for the College of Education, at least for now. So what I'm going to talk about today are resumes, teacher resumes. We're going to talk about what a resume is, how it's specific for teaching, and what you could put on your resume and how to format it in order to make it attractive to potential employers. So let me start by sharing my screen and we will start and you can learn more about resumes. Okay. So when we talk about resumes, everybody's like, well, I have a resume. And most of us already do have resumes, but I'm going to tell you the first resumes I wrote, nobody really taught me how to make one and they were awful. So a resume is a pretty important document. So if you want to make sure that you have some good foundational skills and to not only build your resume, but to continue to refine it even after you graduate from SAM and you're working productively as a teacher, as an educator. So when you think about a resume is a way to communicate your strengths, your skills, your experiences, your degree to a potential employer. So it is a form of communication, and every effective form of communication is going to be shaped by what is it that the audience wants to know. And so when school districts talk to you and when they look at your resume, there are certain things they want to know. And I've heard it over and over again from multiple school district representatives. And so here, look at what you see that they're wanting. They want to know, what position do you want? What are you qualified to teach? i.e., what are your certifications or pending certifications? What are your classroom experiences, such as student teaching or internship experiences if you're a 4+1 student? And how is that going to help their students? And then lastly, can you effectively communicate that you're good for their students, that you would be an asset to their students and to their district? And you would do this by utilizing an elevator pitch, which is basically a 30 to 60 second introduction about who you are, what you're studying, what is it you want to do. And you would incorporate some of your skills and strengths into that. So remember, the purpose of your resume is to communicate. It's a marketing piece for you, and it's an emphasis on what you do well and what you have done well. And it's going to stress the parts of you that make you a better candidate. It is not an autobiography, so we don't need 4-page resumes. Nobody's going to read a 4-page resume. And remember this, that a purpose of a resume is to not get you a job. The purpose of the resume is for you to get an interview. So again, it's a way that you can quickly voice your experiences, skills, educational experiences that the school district representative is like, I want to know more about this one. She has what I'm needing, or he has what I think I might be needing. So let's talk to them more and schedule for an interview. Now, there's a couple of general rules for creating your resume. Number one is you want to begin your resume with the most important material. And for you, that is going to be your objective or what position you're wanting to seek and with what school district. It's also going to be the degree that you're getting and a listing of your certifications and your Texas exams. Next, when you're writing what you have done in your teaching experiences, you want to make sure you start with action verbs. And we're going to go over what those are in just a minute. You want to use bullet points, because think about this. You're one candidate. How many candidates for jobs are school districts seeing? How many resumes do they have to look at? If you write things out in a long, drawn-out paragraph, are they really going to read it? Probably not. So we want to use simple bullet points in order to highlight your most relevant skills. You want to be consistent in formatting. You want things lined up. You want it to look polished. You don't want your fonts to be wonky. You want it to just look polished and it be an extension of your professionalism. You also want to be specific, and you want to quantify information as much as possible regarding what you have been responsible for in the classroom and what you accomplished in the classroom. And of course, Guys, you're going to be teachers. You want to eliminate spelling and grammatical mistakes. I don't think I'm going to have a lot of confidence in hiring somebody to be an educator if they have misspelled words on their resume. So super important to think about those things. So a typical list of what you would include in your resume is included here. You're going to have your contact info, your name. Your name is your brand. So really, this needs to be the largest thing on your resume. It needs to be at the top and easily identifiable. When I say large, I'm not talking size 42 font. We're talking maybe size 14 to 16 font, probably bolded. You want to include your city and state, your phone number, your email, and your LinkedIn URL if you have a LinkedIn. Things to remember about your phone number is if it's to your cell phone, make sure you have a professional incoming voicemail message. Make sure you have your voicemail set up and make sure you're actually checking your voicemail. Super, super important, because if you're seeking a job and you're not doing those things, there's no way for an employer to get a hold of you. Your email address does need to be professional, meaning typically your first and last name and at, maybe Gmail, Ymail, whatever the case may be. You're not going to use the email you've been using since you were 12, like Daisy Friend 42. Not going to be something you want to put on your resume. Now, then we're going to have an objective, your certifications, education, any teaching internship or teaching experiences, pre-teaching experiences, and then work or volunteer experience in other sections, which we'll kind of outline, and I'm going to show you some examples. These are things not to include on your resume. Things like your age, your marital status, height, weight, etc. Anything about your race or religion, reasons you were let go from previous jobs. There should be no photos on your resume. And this is important, no high school information. We're focusing on your collegiate college experiences here. You may have had some wonderful experiences in high school, but those got you into college. Now we're taking your college experiences and we're using those to get you into the professional workforce. Now, when we talk about your objective, this is basically telling the employer what is it that they're looking for. You want it to be focused and specific, and you probably want to target particular positions within the school district. You're telling them what it is that you want to do. Now, there is some controversy about if you should have a objective on your resume or not. Most districts I talk to say, yeah, have one. We like that. But there's some people who think I'm wasting space on my resume by putting an objective. They should be able to tell what it is I'm applying for. So it's going to be up to you whether to have one, but it is something we tend to recommend. If you decide not to have one, you need to have an objective at least in your head, because an objective is really like a thesis statement. It basically is going to tell me everything that the rest of that resume is about. So consider, if you don't have one written in your resume, that you at least have one in your head so you can make sure that everything ties back to what that objective or that thesis statement is. So here's a sample thesis statement. And you're going to see some of the other things we already talked about, your contact information, email, phone number, and city, state. Now here's an objective. You can see here, this person is seeking a classroom position at the elementary school level, preferably in a special education setting. And then they add on a few more things. This is very specific. If I were an employer, I could look at this and see, oh, this person wants to teach special ed in elementary school setting, but they're open to other things that aren't special ed as well. When you think about writing your objective, you want to start with maybe a strong trait, something that's a strength to you. This person used creative problem solver. If you're somebody who's bilingual, you might want to mention that there. If you are somebody who is a natural leader, perhaps you want to use those words. You want to keep it short and you want to avoid first person pronouns, things like I, me, and my. It's a professional document, and so we don't want to have those things in your resume. Next, we want to include your education. Now, remember I told you the most important things need to go higher up on your resume. It's kind of like real estate. And so the prime real estate's the stuff that's up at the top because it's more likely to be read. And so that's why we want you to include your education as you're going to be a new teacher. Now, I have 20 years experience in my field, and my education's actually at the bottom of my resume because I have a lot of very professional field experience on my resume that kind of is built on that education. For you, we really want to emphasize that education. So the idea is that you're going to start in reverse chronological order. So you're going to list Sam Houston State first because you're here. If you're in the 4+1 program, you would list that master's program and then your bachelor's program. And then if you obtained an associate's degree at another institution, maybe a community college or a junior college, you would include that, but it would be most recent, working your way back. Okay. If you went to another institution and you did not get a degree, you do not want to include that. You could include your GPA if it is a 3.0 or above. If it's not, then you probably don't want to highlight that. And then you could also include honors here, like memberships, or you could include that elsewhere in your resume. Let's look at an example. Oh, before I show you that, let me go through certifications. Then we'll look at an example. Then remember, employers are wanting to know what is it you're getting certified in. So first, you're going to list your pending certifications. Remember, your certifications will be pending. Even if you pass your exams, they will be pending until you obtain that bachelor's degree. So you may be done with everything in April of, say, 2022, but you're actually not going to get certified until that degree is conferred upon you until May. So that's going to be important for you to remember. And then you want to list your Texas content exams, whether they're passed or pending. And it's going to be really important that you can identify what you're getting certified in and know the difference between a certification and a Texas exam. So here is the information or the sample for the education. You can see here we have Sam Houston State, the degree, Bachelor of Science in Education, EC through 6. And then you see the expected graduation date right here. You can see the GPA, and then this person included some memberships and some professional organizations. These are organizations that are specifically geared towards teaching. That's why they're listed there. If you're a secondary education student, you want to list your degree in your core subject, your major, and then include your education major or minor as well. If you're a 4+1 student and you're also getting your master's degree, you would list your master's degree first with your expected graduation date, and then you would list your bachelor's degree with your expected graduation date. Okay, so here you're going to see an example of a resume so far. Here we have the contact information we've already talked about. Here we have the objective that we've already talked about. Here's the education. Now, here's the important part about the certifications. You could see you want to put the state you're certified in, what you're getting the certification in. Remember to include, if you're getting the science of teaching reading, you want to include that. Notice in parentheses, it says application pending upon graduation. This person is also seeking special ed, so they are also pending a certification in their special education. And then you can see the certification exams, the Texas exams that are down here. You see the EC through 6 educational core. You see special ed, see that science of teaching reading, pedagogy, and professional responsibilities. PPR is not a certification. It is an exam. And then you're also going to see the ESL pending as well. And notice some of these have been passed and some of them are pending. So pretty simple if you think it through. If you just throw it all together, it gets a little muddy. So we want to be as clear as possible for potential employers. Now, next is going to be your experience. And what we really want you to emphasize is your classroom experience, such as student teaching, your internship experience, if you're 4+1, and your field experience. And then you could list other classroom observation hours and relevant teaching experience if needed. So you're going to list the title, name of the school, location, dates of employment, and relevant duties using action verbs, listing your duties in phrase format using bullets, past tense for past experience, present tense for present. You want to be clear. And again, using bullets is really an easy way to make your resume easily understood by potential employers. Now, here's a bullet point formula that should help you write some of those bullets, because writing those bullets tends to be the hardest part. It's the idea is to do action verb plus example plus result action verb. So here you can see you're going to format descriptions about your accomplishments and experience again into bullets. How many times have we mentioned that, right? You're going to begin each one with a power verb that describes what action you took. You're going to avoid passive words like participated, met, and worked with. Instead, opt for these power influential words like collaborated, developed, and implemented. State what you did, how you did it, why you did it, and if possible, what the result was. So here's some examples. This is a not so great example. As an employer, I may read, oh, I assisted with after-school program. Well, that doesn't tell me anything about the skills that were used, what you did, so you assisted. You assisted by sitting in a chair playing on your phone the whole time? I mean, I don't know. Instead, look at this over here, how that is now changed into partnered with staff. Hear that action verb. Partnered with staff to develop and implement an after-school intervention program. And now we're result focused. That resulted in 50% decrease in post-school discipline referrals. Now, which one of those would impress you as an employer? Assisted with, or the more detailed version that's very action focused and results driven? Here's another one, led collaborative team meetings. Again, that doesn't tell me anything about you. Maybe you have some leadership, but I don't know how you did it. Again, that could change over to developed grade level collaborative learning teams, which resulted, again, results, accomplishments, resulted in the creation and use of common assessments at all grade levels. So you can see the difference. Again, the resume is your way to show your skill sets, right? So here's some examples of power verbs or action verbs, whatever you want to call them. And yeah, there's nothing in here responsible for, duties included, participated, helped. Instead, you see they're all very action focused. This is how you start a powerful bullet. You also may want to use some buzzwords for educators. And these are some common things that you may come across in your field experiences, in your teaching experiences that you could include possibly in your resume combined with these action verbs. Using keywords or buzzwords from your field or your intended professional field is a way to kind of start showing your professionalism. Now, don't just list these things on your resume. You want to talk about how you use them or how you did them in your teaching experiences. But you can see, just kind of keep this list. I believe you're going to have access to this PowerPoint afterwards. This may be a good list for you to refer to. Notice it says over here on the right-hand side, manipulative. That's not meaning you're somebody who easily manipulates. That's talking about things that, of course, can be kinetically manipulated. So again, here's our sample template. And here you see the student teaching and field experience that are outlined. You can see the name of the school, the city and location, title. Since this person is seeking a special education role, they went on and included the IEPs that were in the classroom with them, and then the months and years that they were there. So again, action verbs. I know this is in the future, but we're going to pretend it's in the past, and that's why they are all past tense. And then down here, same thing, because they're interested in special ed, they included the ones with IEPs. If you're not seeking special ed, you don't have to do that. Notice that these are very action focused and very, this is what I accomplished focused. What about other experiences? Maybe when before you became a student teacher, you worked at a grocery store or worked at Walmart, or you were a server. Should those jobs be included? Well, the answer is maybe. If they're somehow related to education, like you are a tutor, a daycare worker, camp counselor, maybe a school paraprofessional, then yes, definitely include them. Remember, though, to keep your focus on those classroom experiences through your Ed Prep program, though. If they're not related to education, you probably want to include them, particularly if they show job longevity, that you've been someplace for a while. But you're going to focus on what we call transferable skills. These are skills that you learned in that job that you can use in teaching. For instance, I worked at Walmart back when I was 17. And now people who go to Walmart are mean sometimes. And I had to learn how to keep my professional demeanor, even when somebody was in my face cussing me out. I'm 17 years old, having to learn that. That's a skill I still use to this day, able to maintain a professional demeanor in a stressful situation. That would be a transferable skill. So there's some listed on here, maybe things about your communication skills, your level of comfort with diversity, problem solving, your ability to be adaptable. You could list a few bullets under these work experiences. But again, your emphasis is really going to be in the classroom. So you can see related experiences that are not particularly in the classroom, but they are somewhat related. This person was a camp counselor, and they also were an individual tutor. Notice that these are simpler bullets, and there's only 3. So the work experience is on there, but it's all tied to things that would be helpful as a teacher. So I know this is a lot of text, but you could also include some other categories if you want, including honors and activities, or if you have special skills and interests. That could be things like if you could speak a second language, or maybe you're certified in ASL or something like that. If you've been to any professional development conferences that are related to education, or if you're part of professional memberships. The ones that are related to teaching, we do recommend that you put them up by your education. If you had a study abroad experience, you could put that on here. If you have related coursework, you could. You may not need it as much with your program, because your coursework is pretty much outlined what the requirements are to be a certification or to be a certified teacher. And then anything else that you think would be helpful to add in. So here is Sammy's Bearcat's final resume. All those little examples we looked at are put together in a resume here. And you're going to see they start out with the objective, they go to education, then there's the certifications that are pending upon graduation. You see Texas exams, student teaching and field experience, again, because all of that's most relevant. Then the related experiences, and then they threw in a couple of activities down there just to kind of show some leadership. But again, the emphasis is on that classroom experience. Other tips, additional information. Most people say, well, I need to get my resume to 1 page. For most new graduates, that is the general rule, but it's kind of a myth that it has to be 1 page. If you have had ample experience being a school paraprofessional, or doing programming in a daycare, your resume might be 2 pages. Don't go over 2 pages. If your experience has been more like you've worked at Starbucks, then you probably need to keep your resume to 1 page, because again, you're just highlighting a few of those transferable skills. So those who are in the 4+1 program, your resumes may actually be the 2 pages, but try to be at least 1.5 pages, not just 1 page in a sentence. If you're going to physically take a resume, like maybe to a career fair that's face-to-face, probably want to get that nicer paper. You can go to like Target or Walmart and get it. It's called resume paper, buy a pack of 25. If you mail your resume, I don't see that happening a lot, but you want to put it in an envelope as opposed, that's a flat envelope versus one that you fold up. Most of us apply, most of the school districts want you to apply online. Some people try to include references on their resume, and I'm here to tell you, you don't have to do that. References are actually their own separate document. You try to use the same heading as your resume, and then you would list your references. You have to think about who would be a good reference. people like your faculty in the Ed Prep program, mentor teachers, maybe former supervisors. But make sure you ask your people who want to be a reference for you before you actually put them on your resume or put them on a job application. Okay, make sure you talk to them. Also, your supervisors for your student teaching could be a really good potential reference for you. So we talked a lot about resumes. It's probably a little overwhelming and you're thinking, there's no way I could do this. Well, don't forget that you have help. We are here to help you. We have a peer career advisor program where we train peers and to help you with your resume. They can help you prep for interviews, help you learn how to search for a job. And we also put on career fairs where you have the opportunity to network with employers every semester. We have education-specific programming on our YouTube under SHSU Career Services. There's some teacher-specific programming listed on there for you. There are some employment panels from school district representatives who hire teachers. You may want to watch that and see what it is that they're wanting in new candidates. And then we also offer Handshake, Bearcats Get Hired. This is where we encourage all school districts to post open positions when they're interested. And if we do offer virtual career fairs, this is the platform that we utilize to do that. You can find those things on our website. You could also find the template that I showed you in this resume presentation. That is also on our website. Just go to Career Services on the SAM website. And then you'll see an area that says resumes and cover letters, and you'll see teacher resume. And so you could take the template and write over it, type over it, or just use it as an example. So again, it's there to help you. If you're interested in meeting with one of our peer career advisors, you can make appointments a couple of ways. Number one, in the fall, we are going to be offering face-to-face appointments and Zoom appointments. Zoom may work better for your busy schedule, particularly when you do start doing that student teaching. You can find us on Campus Connect. Just look under Student Resources and look for Career Services. And then you could select if you want a Zoom appointment or face-to-face. Or you could call our welcome desk at 936-294-1713, and you can make an appointment that way as well. So thank you for having me. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you feel a little more equipped to work on your resume. Remember, as you get more classroom experiences, it's going to be easier for you to write those things. But remember to focus on what you've accomplished. If you're teaching a lesson, you want to talk about how you taught the lesson, who you taught the lesson to, what did you accomplish with it. So you guys take care. Best of luck to you.